Hi. Uh, Hello. I think we're good to go, as ready as I can be. Hi. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm improving. Had not the best, little stint there for last week, which is why I didn't do this last week. But hey, I'm finally feeling okay enough to attempt this, and because Pokemon Platinum's done, I figured we should just move this here, because otherwise it's never getting done. In terms of like scheduling around other stuff for like my main YouTube, this is like the last chance to put it remotely close to the release of Jam. I wanted it to be between Animal Crossing and Nintendogs, but that didn't work out. So yeah, we're gonna get started here right away. This will be interesting for sure. Just because I haven't actually done anything like this since like very early on into streaming, so this will be fun, hopefully. I think everything is good to go, so hi. It's been a bit since I've played this particular Guilty Gear, but I wanted to give this a shot again. I almost wanted to do this for Venom too. The problem is I just don't know how to play Venom, unfortunately. Yeah, hi everyone. Hi Serena, thank you for the resub for 7 months and for the head pass. Hi Freeze, welcome on in. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, I meant to do this like earlier in April, and life. Definitely lifed. So yeah, we're finally getting around to something I've been wanting to do. I basically wanted to do a quick retrospective for the character that was actually my original main in Guilty Gear. As much as I am now associated with Dizzy, yeah, originally, back in the day, I almost always played Jam. So yeah, I'm excited she's in Strive, character number 7. For some reason on GBA she's listed as character 17, and I swear to god, by the way, for this retrospective, I'm not going to go as thorough, as in I'm not going to do the GBA version just because it's just this again, but worse. And there's like additional like ending text for her, and that's the only major difference. Jam's a very interesting character. She's very easy, and I think that's why I gravitated towards her very early on. She's definitely the most conventional character I play in Guilty Gear. I don't know what that says about me. The main mix-up she has is like quarter circle forward slash, where you can actually chain into different moves. There's a... Okay, if triple let me. I don't know why they set the difficulty to now that I think about it. Hope I lowered it, because I'm not good at this particular game. Yeah, Jam is a very interesting character. Also, audio balancing in these games is very fun. Fun thing, this victory animation is in the GBA version. I wonder why. Yeah, like you can press heavy slash to go behind the opponent with the little charge move. You can press it again to do the same move, but like forward hitting. But there's also kick and punch versions of that too. That's the kick version, and like the square version is essentially a feint. So it's good for like baiting, I assume. She has a big kick for her like quarter circle forward P, like, no, that's K. I'm just saying quarter circle because while actually playing the game, my brain does not work well enough to go into numpad notation. I'm gonna be blunt. Yeah, my brain cannot handle that. Jam's a very interesting character because the way she's localized varies wildly from game to game. A lot of the localizations for Jam are downright racist, because of the way Chinese characters are portrayed in media, including Japanese media. So that'll be fun when we get to like XR. That'll definitely be like cringing on my skin the entire time, but it's fine. I haven't even played Jam and Strive. I didn't even buy the DLC yet. Partly because I've actually bought a lot of like digital games this month, and I don't know if I want to spend $25. But if I want to do this like playthrough, I should probably get on that, huh? if you press down twice and one of the main buttons, you can actually charge up one of her other specials. So for example, that one should charge up the kick move, so it's a bit stronger. You can also go into like the DP from the kick. So there's this move, wrong input, damn it. There's this move, nope, that's the wrong move. I keep doing quarter circle, I'm trying to do a... What would that be? 623, I think? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is 623, and yeah, so this can go into that, and you can just kind of keep chaining this. So she's a very interesting character. Ow. Obviously, Strive does change things. She has a couple new moves in exchange for losing. Frankly, a lot of the options on this. Like, that's the biggest, like, change, is she doesn't have all the variations of that, and that kind of sucks. It's the same problem I have with Dizzy, not having all the different versions of Fish, because I personally like Fish. And just setting up in different ways. I say as I never did it when I played Guilty Gear originally, because I was bad at set play characters. Yeah, I like Cham a lot. She's also got no chill, apparently. That's kind of still a thing in Strive. She's very, a lot, from what I gather. Like, the thing about Cham that's interesting to me is she's not really, like, a very noble character. She's very much driven by, like, trying to find like a hot boyfriend, basically, and also money. So a lot of her motivations in Guilty Gear involve she has a restaurant and it gets destroyed constantly. So she is constantly trying to do various things to get money. If I'm not mistaken, in this game, we won't actually see it because the story mode doesn't actually cover much canonically. This is a game that, like, the core framework of, oh, there's a half gear that everyone's trying to hunt down. That's still intact, but a lot of the nuance has been, like, the specifics of it have been heavily altered since Cham's supers are really weird. Like, they don't animate very well if I can do the input. Does that actually forward? One sec. Nope, that is the wrong input. Again, just because this was my former main doesn't mean I'm still good at this character. There we go. It's like she just stands there, some big thing flashes on screen. It's not a very good super, but she has it all the way through X2, if I recall correctly. Her other super is a little bit better in this game, and she gets a third super as well in, I think, X2. The big glowing ball, yeah. And again, I almost wanted to do a Venom Legacy, just I did not have the ability to play Venom very well. Like, when I got back into Guilty Gear with XR, I did play Dizzy enough to be able to, like, retroactively apply some of it. By the way, Dust is not its own button in Original X. That was a thing starting with, or you can map it individually starting with Guilty Gear X Plus. So, to actually do Dust, you have to press Slash and Heavy Slash together. So if you're wondering why I'm not using Dust at all, because it sucks to use. Like, it's actually annoying to try to Dust in this game. Which is great for, like, lows. Like, I 2D constantly. So, yeah, not having access to 2D easily, it kind of sucks, not gonna lie. Yeah, this is our other super. Flashing lights warning for most of the games being covered today, I'm pretty sure. Ow. Well, that was anticlimactic. Yeah, Cham's an interesting character. She also has, like, an aerial 2K, which is interesting. It's interesting in analyzing the different versions of the character, and I'm going to get complete... What? What do you mean by that, Cham? What is she talking about? Alright, Faust. So we're gonna do an arcade mode run, and then probably pivot to X+, which will be a whole gong show, because it's Japan only. Meaning, like with the Dizzy video, I might, for the YouTube version, go through and actually caption it manually. Which is a great idea. Totally won't regret everything, especially because I'm, like, crunched for time, because I meant to do this, like, for the following, like, 3 weeks, and then kept having things come up during the Wednesday stream slot, basically. So yeah, totally not gonna regret that decision. Oh shoot, I should drop her IK if I can land it on Faust of all characters. Ow. Some things never change. Faust is just a character I do not like fighting. Ow, case in point. Oh, that whiffed, damn it. Faust, you quirky little guy. Yeah, Serena played Elfeld story mode in Strive, so she's very well aware of Faust. Though I don't know if Serena knows all the minutia of what the hell happens between this game where he's just a little silly guy and Strive where he's still kind of a silly guy. Oops. Oh yeah, he doesn't do that anymore, which makes sense. Basically he dies, essentially. Hi GB, thank you for the head pats. He basically essentially dies in Strive. And like, he's still technically alive, but in such a dire state that he is essentially like, kind of like a husk, essentially. Like, his instinct to do good is still there, but he's just kind of like, questionably alive, basically. Like, is it like an anime soul leaving body thing, or is it like actually implying he's dead? It's like hard to tell sometimes. Wow, this is hard to do on D-pad, by the way. And you have to commit to one or the other. You can't like alternate stick or D-pad in this game. Also, there's the IK. Again, I'm playing on beginner because I am not good at old Guilty Gear, and also these games were meant for arcades, so they will kick your ass. I genuinely have a lot of video ideas, like for video essays on my YouTube involving Guilty Gear, because of course I do. Not to tip my hat too early, but one thing I've literally thought about doing is trying to do a video essay on like all the different handheld Guilty Gears, because it's actually a weird list and very fascinating. Like genuinely, god, Faust is so low that a lot of moves miss him. It's slightly infuriating. Would you count the Switch 2 edition with Switch edition of Strive? I would actually have to buy that for that video, because it is now obsolete because it only goes up through Season 3. Or no, Season 4. So it actually is an interesting way to play essentially 1.0 Strive now that 2.0 is out. It's essentially a preserved version, so that's why I'm like, on one hand it sucks that they're not getting 2.0, but one, it didn't have crossplay to begin with, and two, it's almost kind of weirdly novel having a version that essentially caps at a point, meaning you can still experience the original version of this game. Like, it's actually really weird, and that doesn't happen very often, so I find that very fascinating. I have an old disc copy of Strive 2. It's like, I wonder if I don't install the patch on like if I turn off the online on PS5, I kind of wonder if I could actually get it to run. Like 1.0, like literal 1.0, not just like 1.4, whatever, but like literal 1.0. It's like, I wonder if that would actually work. And if that, when I do the Fox Girls favorites on Strive, because of course that will happen, obviously I wouldn't be able to play Basket, because she was Season 2, but there is still the temptation to actually do like a run with like Ramlethal off 1.0, just to see how different Strive was back then. And then do like a PC run of like the current version with Brisket, because again, it's important. Like, the reason Strive resonates is partly because of Brisket, and a lot of characters too. I don't know if I want to pull a star and do like every arcade story mode in Strive. That I think would drive me insane, especially because they're still getting characters. So, Potemkin is a character that always walls me, even in modern Guilty Gear, just because I do not deal with grapplers well. Like, if I played Street Fighter, I probably would hate fighting Zangief. Thank you for the hydration check. I'm talking a lot, I'm realizing. I have a lot of bottled up emotions, apparently. But yeah, Serena, that's kind of my speculation, is the reason they're capping this, because it's deliberately called Switch 1 Edition. I'm imagining that there's going to be a Switch 2 edition of sorts, but it's going to have to be a separate SKU, because of not having, like, you know, like connectivity to like crossplay. So like a Switch 2, instead of Guilty Gear Strive, it's just up in the air. That's fair. I thought they kind of deconfirmed it. But basically, God, trying to explain my thoughts on this while fighting a grappler is not the easiest thing. Basically, I do think there will be a Switch 2 edition eventually. But it was also outsourced to, I think, Tantalus? Is that right? I don't know if that's actually right or not. Because that feels wrong. But someone outsourced it. It runs pretty well for a Switch version. The one issue I have is you can't resize the HUD, so it's designed for a handheld screen, even on TV mode. So the health bars are really huge for some reason. But just overall, I actually kind of want to own the Switch version. Bizarrely enough. The problem is I don't want to spend like $60 on it. Oh hey, guess who else I hate fighting in every version of Guilty Gear? I do not like fighting Milia, no matter what. There's the universal constant of... Oh yeah, she has a counter, by the way. Which is, that. I mistimed it, apparently. Like, Milia's like a banger design. I just do not like fighting against Milia players in any incarnation of this character. Okay. I'm trying to land the counter, but I think I'm gonna die in the process. I'm definitely gonna die in the process. Oh, that whiff. Well, that really sucks. IKs are so interesting in this game because you basically sacrifice your meter if you screw it up, so it is definitely a desperation kind of move. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who developed it, because like, the name that comes to mind is Tantalus, but that doesn't feel right. It was Tantalus, okay. I thought they made a post about it. Tantalus is the studio that did Twilight Princess HD and Skyward Sword HD, more notably. So like, they do good ports. The only problem is just... yeah, how do you get rollback for this game and crossplay working? The server, you know how the game boots up so badly when connecting to servers? I don't really need it to get worse. That's kind of why I have the hot take of, as much as like crossplay is inherently cool for this game, every time they add a new system, like a new platform crossplay, it breaks shit for like months. So that's why I'm like, kind of, on one hand it'd be cool to have Switch compatibility, on the other hand, it would just break a lot of things. 'Cause, like, when they added Xbox to crossplay, things broke for like a long time. Like when they added Steam to PS5 crossplay, things broke. When they added Xbox in, it broke again. So yeah, this is why I wouldn't necessarily be opposed, but also would be annoyed if it just, once again, just brings down every other system. I don't know what difficulty I set this to, because this feels harder than I'm used to. Maybe it's because I'm talking over it. Yeah, I really do want that at some point. I actually want to own the others too. I actually looked on eBay and like Judgment's like complete in box or even new for like 20 bucks. I only have a PSP though. Obviously I would emulate it if I were to stream it. I don't have a PSP, let alone a modded PSP. That's one of those dream things I want to own someday, is like a PSP modded with like HDMI. And no, wait, you can just, it has component out, you can just do that. So yeah, I genuinely would want a PSP someday, just because, you know, the novelty of owning a PSP. Okay, that was very scuffed. Again, do not know what difficulty this is set up to at the moment. But yeah, it is a consideration. So yeah, what then actually entails the $1 million question? There's a DSiWare game. I think Freeze told me about this. It's like, I've never heard of this. Shouting at the top of your lungs is a great way to focus on your power. That's interesting advice. The DSi Guilty Gear, it's Guilty Gear in the loosest possible term. I I think it's like a platformer with like a mascot character. The guy in the back looks like Raven from Tales of Vesperia. Good game, by the way. I don't really vibe with it just because, oh my god, that game is really annoying when it comes to 100%. As someone who likes to complete games, that game is like the worst game I've ever seen. Like, genuinely. Like, Symphonia is pretty bad too, but like, oh my god, there's so many weird side quest requirements in that game. Like, oh, talk to the, like, go back to like the first town and like talk to this specific NPC. If you don't actually talk to this NPC, you will have no context for the final boss. It's so dumb, and it makes me actively annoyed. It's a guide game, which feels weird to say about an RPG that came out in like the 360 era. That's a guide game. Hell. Yeah, I think I left the difficulty on normal because I am getting a little bodied. Either that or I'm not locked in. That was just me blocking the wrong way. That was risky on my part, but it paid off, so I'll take it. I'm also not RCing because, again, if I don't have a macro for RC, I don't like using it. Well, that's just rude. Yeah, I think I left it on normal, because I'm not usually getting destroyed this much. Why is that the loudest sound imaginable? I love early PS2 and like PS1 sound balancing, or lack thereof. I was playing so good last night, that's why I'm kind of disappointed. It's like, what the hell is happening? I feel like I was doing so much better. The other issue is I don't use punch enough. Like, I almost always just rely on, like, slash heavy slash kick and that, like, tier. And again, not having dust on a macro is also screwing me up, honestly. Like, not to make excuses for my gameplay not being the best, but again, if I could just use dust in combos more, that would help. Dust is like an automatic overhead, usually. And there's also just a good low for chaining. Like that. It's like a hard knockdown, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like I remember that like Amazon had like the Switch version of Strive for like $30 at one point, and I was like almost considering it, but I ended up opting out because I already have like 2 versions of this game. So I kind of regret that now that I've had the idea of what if I do a video on all the different handheld games. But like, there's Guilty Gear Petite 1 and 2, there's Advance, X Advance Edition, there's Judgment for PSP, which is actually kind of a beat 'em up. I don't know if it's a good beat 'em up, but it's a beat 'em up. There's Dust Strikers, which I always confuse for dual rollers, for obvious reasons. Dust Strikers is basically like a really bad like attempt at like a shonen jump, like Jump Force, not Jump Force. What's the other one? Jump All Stars, kind of like platformy fighting game. But it's really weird. I tried it once and it was not great. That game's also not that expensive, even new. To the point that I've almost considered trying to collect a bunch of miscellaneous Guilty Gears just to own a collection. What the hell? Yeah, Gem has no chill. And again, I think that still applies to Strive too, from what I gather. Oh good, Soul. We're gonna get slightly obliterated, probably. I'm trying to think of other things to talk about with Jam. The funny thing is I actually forgot the musical reference, Cloudberry, but it's just spelled like very like phonetically from Japanese for some reason. Yeah, I just, one, I'm so not used to playing Jam, I think that's part of the problem. 2, I'm not locked in, just because I'm talking. Ow. Damn, okay. I see how it is. Yeah, I'm wondering what I did for the difficulty. I might check after just to see, because like I'm a bit baffled by how much trouble I'm having with this. Oh my god. Yeah. Because this is a game where even on beginner, I sometimes struggle, so this isn't out of the ordinary. I just don't think it's entirely ordinary at the same time to get this destroyed by the CPUs on the lowest possible difficulty. Again, I might have just forgotten to... I might have set it back to default to change a different setting and then forgot to change the difficulty back. Or I'm just bad today, that's the other option. Okay, so yeah, when we go into the next game, I'll verify the difficulty. Oh shoot! Oh, wait, that's Dreamcast, that's right. By the way, this game is on Dreamcast. It actually has one less difficulty. Instead of like beginner, there's actually just easy. One time I tried that, and I couldn't get past easy. So yeah, that could have gone a lot better. Good start. Yeah, that's not great. Anyway, we're taken back here. Weirdly enough, default colors for this game and this version is triangle to select default color. That's so weird to me. Like, normally it's whatever punches. But for X, it's triangle. For X plus, it's circle. Which actually makes sense, because that's confirmed in the Japanese version. I might be playing too aggressive, and also input reading is inherently going to be a problem in a Japanese fighting game of this era. And modern fighting games, let's be real. Most fighting games input read. Yeah, not my favorite convention, but, you know... So yeah, like, I need to do that more. Ow. Not that I can psych out a CPU, to be fair. Yeah, like, I genuinely don't know what happened. I might actually check the difficulty, just to make sure I didn't set it too high for what I can get through. Cause yeah, I feel like I'm getting unusually bodied here. Worst case scenario, yeah, I can just redo that, I guess. The only one I can probably do on normal is Xrd. Pro Jumper, Guilty Gear Tangent, yeah, that's the one. I mean, we could just play really fast and loose. You know, if Soul will let us. That somehow worked. I don't know how that worked, but it worked. That was really dumb. Like, the worst possible trade, but hey, I'll take it, I guess. It's also not my favorite thing using a D-pad. Maybe I'm like, I think it's abnormal, because most pros use D-pad instead of stick. Which is why most fighting game controllers, like, pro-themed fighting game controllers tend to not even have a stick. Like, you know, Hori controllers. I have like an M30 from 8BitDo that I realized in hindsight I should have gone out for this playthrough, since I can't use the analog stick anyway, but I kind of forgot. That's an option. Wow, I actually blocked it. Also, faultless defense is still a thing. I should, like, be using that. Yeah, you still have RC. I don't know if you have burst, though. Because there's no burst gauge, actually. So yeah, no bursting. I need to do, like, hit confirms more. Again, I was just playing this last night and I was having no trouble, so that's why I'm so confused. Ow. Alright, I'm gonna experiment. One sec. What button would that be to save state on here? There we go. Can it be set from here? Because yeah, at this rate, I don't think we're getting through this. at this difficulty, but like, I'm just wondering what happened. Yeah, it's on easy. Normally I have it on beginner, so that's why I'm struggling so much. I'm struggling this much on easy. The only problem with that means is I have to do the entirety of arcade mode again, up to that point. I wish I had checked that yesterday. I should have checked that yesterday. And all the things I checked, that was the one thing I didn't actually verify. So that kind of screws up a lot of things, actually. Wow, that really sucks, actually. Yeah, because that's just like half an hour down the train, basically, that, you know, we could have been using way more productively. And just having to, like, play everything back through. So yeah, I do want to do this though, so we'll stick it out, but yeah, damn, that sucks. Especially as a return stream after a hiatus, that really sucks to have that happen. Just because I forgot to check a setting that should have stayed set. Like, why would it be on easy? Why wouldn't it be on normal if it changed back? I probably just accidentally changed it while fiddling with a different setting. So yeah, that is very unfortunate though. I'm not using this move enough, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, I thought it was, like, fishy, difficulty-wise. I could definitely do it, it would just take a long time. It actually might take longer to do that than to just manually go through like this. But, like, if I hadn't done that, I probably could have gone through the X Plus stuff in the next, like, half hour. So that's just why I find that unfortunate, because that's just a lot of time gone, and that kind of throws off my entire scheduling for this playthrough, because it was a pretty tight schedule anyway, in terms of what I wanted to stream today, to get through all the games I wanted to cover. It'll still be fine, but it's going to be slightly awkward. I also need to remember what stage was that. Was that stage 8? I think that was stage 8. Yeah, again, I'm not good at this game, just straight up. I am not the best, so I usually play on beginner, just because the CPUs are very difficult for my skill level. Even on accent core, I'm probably going to play on beginner just to make things easier. Again, the only one I would probably just leave on normal is actually Xrd, and then, Strive is adaptive difficulty, so we'll just let it ride. If I lose a round, whatever. I would like to at least do hard difficulty, but if not, I'm not gonna be too hard pressed to, you know... I won't be too upset about it, basically, if that is the case. But yeah, losing half an hour means I don't know if I would get through the bit of X2 I wanted to do, and that's a shame. Or at least the story mode, because I think the plan that I was going to do today was to do... X Plus, which again is Japanese, so that'll be weird. X2, and then a little bit of like the story mode part of Accent Core. So what will actually probably happen is the story mode part of Accent Core will be tossed into the stream after, along with an arcade mode run. Again, saving the arcade mode run for Accent Core because that's the more complete version. The only reason I'm not doing that for Plus is because it's in Japanese. So yeah, that means it'll be all of Accent Core and probably Xrd as a stream. Yeah, Jam has a crush on Kai, by the way. Yeah, like, if I wasn't actively streaming this game and already behind where I wanted to be schedule-wise for this playthrough, for this, like, series, I would check the VOD and actually see what stage I was on. I think I was on stage 8, though. Because, you know, I won't skip as much at that point. So yeah, and like on the YouTube version, I'll just cut ahead, because yeah, no point in going through all this again. That's what I'm kind of speeding through. But that's why I kind of was like, I wonder which part I left that off on. Thank you. If anyone could check that, actually, I would appreciate that as well. Yeah, just to jump from easy to beginner is like ridiculous to me. Like, it's weird that like easy is that hard. Like, I remember trying, because I wanted to do a like playthrough of it like a long time ago, like a gender ago, and because I think it was I'm trying to remember if it was a specs issue or not, but I was initially going to go with like the Dreamcast version, but because there's no beginner difficulty, I literally couldn't beat it, like genuinely. So I ended up having to pivot to the PSD version. So yeah, like this is not a new thing. I've just always struggled on this game, and I don't know if it's just because I do not have fundamentals down, I don't have the control mappings I would want, or because these CPUs are assholes, because that all of the above is a possibility. And again, opponent doesn't matter, it's the amount of opponents, to clarify. Because, like, we already fought Soul, which is awkward. That also explains when I was checking the VOD for the previous time, this went really fast, because I was playing on beginner, and this time I was not. Yeah, like, the best I've ever done is getting to Dizzy on easy, and then immediately getting curb stomped. Yeah, I think it was 8. Yeah, that just kind of sucks, having like a hang-up like that. Again, on the return stream no less. So yeah, if my mood is off, that's probably why, to be honest. Because I like being transparent about it. It was a yes, thank you. I just try to be honest about things like that, because I don't want to like just push through a stream, because I feel like most people are able to tell if I'm off, because I don't hide it very well. So I try to be like semi-transparent about that, even though it's probably not the best actually for a streaming environment to be like, hey, I'm not doing great. But I at least try to be honest about it to some degree, while also still trying to keep the energy up. It's an interesting balance to try to hit. So yeah, it's a lot sometimes. And yeah, mental state is still not the best, but I wanted to at least do this because one, this is like the last chance to have it actually edited on time, and two, I genuinely feel like I genuinely felt like I was at least in decent enough shape to do this, but again, just kind of knocked the wind out of my sails a bit, I think. Which kind of has happened a lot with streams lately, because that was a problem in Platinum too. I think that's why I'm so discouraged, is because things like this keep happening. This is stage 5. Wow, it's hard to tell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like 3. So 2 more after this. That's why I have to actually kind of lock back in for the sake of like editing this down. So proud of you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Serena. Like, I'm not doing bad, to clarify. I'm just, like, frustrated, because it was such an easy thing to have corrected, and that was the one thing I didn't check, because I had no reason to believe the setting would be different from when I left it on. It's like, I genuinely don't know why it was on easy. That's the part that I'm frustrated by, is I have no clue why it would be, because I always play this game on beginner. So, like, why would it be the only setting that's different? Because that was audio balancing, but, like, that would be sound settings. That wouldn't be, you know, gameplay settings, unless I just accidentally hit right. Like a diagonal, and it took it as a right input, basically. So yeah, we'll get through X and X2 at least. Don't know about all of Accent Core. And we might start Accent Core, at least do like one of the story branches, because there's like... How many? Actually, no, X2 is gonna take a while. You have to fight like 4 Robo-Kais, I'm pretty sure. Like, this is not a bit. There's one where you have to like fight Robo-Kai over and over again, because there's just like a mass-produced amount at this point. So yeah, that one might take a bit, to the point of like, it might just be X2 and X Plus after this. And maybe I should do Advanced at that point, just because I don't know how much time we'll have. Jam Story mode itself will be pretty easy, because there's like only one major difference. In some ways, it's actually slightly negligible, to the point that I don't even think it'd be essential to cover, but it's me we're talking about. I would definitely consider it. Anyway. So that was stage 5. So this would be 6. So 2 more. Biking and 1 other. Cool. I always feel like slightly down in streams when stuff like this happens, and that I think does bother me more so than the actual thing itself. It's just how much things get to me, I think, is actually what bothers me in cases like this. It's probably the reason why I don't play games for the first time on stream very much, because like Roboblast happened, and that was not a great stream in my opinion, just because of how annoyed I was getting at that game. Like, I don't think it's a great stream to watch if I'm just getting tilted at a game, which Roboblast was the most tilted I think I've ever gotten at a game on stream. Like, even Pokemon Platinum was just more annoyance than anything, just because Azelf was being awful. But like, I genuinely don't feel like... I don't like getting stuck on games, and Roboblast 2 is the worst example of that, where it's just like, I'm extremely walled and getting frustrated. The ironic part is me and Serena played it afterwards in like multiplayer and had a decent time. And again, knowing that they were actively in the process of retooling the stages I was having issues with also makes me interested. But I also don't have the patience to go back to it, to be honest. Like, I would be willing to try it again, just see what changed. Okay, so this is our last one. Okay, it's Faust again. You play it with me after it came out, probably. Yeah, that might be fun. But I don't know if I'd want to go through it again by myself, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, ow. Okay. So yeah, the timing of everything is also going to be thrown off by like ad breaks and everything, so there might be points where things have to like cut away and then cut back in terms of like editing things down. Which is not my favorite thing. I was hoping to get like each segment into its own like part of the stream, so like X for the first part, X2 for the second part, then Accent Core for the third. But again, likely won't get through Accent Core, or even get to Accent Core today because of the mishap. It's like X2 has 3 endings. That's gonna take a bit. Dizzy's didn't actually take very long, but I think the branches were early enough that didn't matter as much. I have a whole thing, like a whole list up, but I'll consult it later. There we go. Yeah, it's like we would have gone to Dizzy on normal and gone absolutely curb stomped, so yeah, it was worth it to reset, I think. But again, it almost feels too easy now. Like it almost feels like there isn't a great difficulty. But at least we are now caught up. Alright, let's give this another try, and of course it's Milia again. Cool. It's interesting. Certain characters I'm pretty sure have fixed fights, and Jam apparently doesn't. Because, I think Soul always fights Kai, and I assume vice versa for Stage 8, and then Testament and Dizzy. So you have a very fixed order. This game is also different from original Guilty Gear because there's more story in original Guilty Gear's arcade mode. Like, there's little cutscenes and everything for, like, fighting Justice and everything. Not fighting Justice, but, like, leading into the fight with Justice, so it's a little bit more dynamic and story-driven. This arcade mode is, like, so vague, and then X Plus's story is, like, debatably canon, I feel, because of just how much doesn't actually line up with current canon, and also within itself, too. Like, it feels like it contradicts itself at times. People sort of chalk that up in X2 because Eno is involved, so you could just say, oh, this is timey-wimey, basically. I, for some reason, forgot I was Jam for some reason, despite the whole point of this playthrough. Yeah, it's like the difficulty difference between easy and beginner is slightly staggering as someone who got absolutely destroyed last time by Milia, and then especially by Soul. But again, it's also just I'm not the best at this game, and also I'm talking. And yeah, it is absolutely a skill issue to a point. This is just not my cup of tea. I'd rather... If I were to play an old school Guilty Gear, I would probably do better at Accent Core. The only reason I would play Accent Core on the easiest difficulty is because Eno absolutely bites in that game. Fighting Eno really sucks, actually. Anyway, back on track with this little playthrough. And so that means we should get Testament, yeah. I'm pretty sure Testament is the penultimate boss of 1 as well. Because Testament is involved in Justice coming back. So, yeah, Testament would be the second to last opponent there too. Alright, again, this being on a lower difficulty, this shouldn't be a problem. Again, even on easy, I've struggled against this to the point of not even being able to beat Dizzy on the final stage, so... And again, the actual plot implications in this game are a little bit muddy compared to the actual story mode that we'll be seeing after this, just because, basically, the issue with, what am I trying to say? The issue with X's storytelling is it has a fixed description of events. There's even like a little comic on the website before Strive came out, basically detailing everything leading up to Strive, and it is kind of interesting, a hybrid of different stories for both characters. Like, I want to say Soul and Kai are both involved with Dizzy, which makes sense, given how the story goes, but like the whole thing about like, basically I got the impression that Dizzy just kind of meets Kai during part of the story in like X2 or like Accent Core, and that doesn't make sense with what we know now. So again, a lot of retcons have happened, partly just because yeah, no, the story's kind of a mess, I feel. So again, in actual canon, Jam never fights Dizzy. If I recall correctly, they basically let Dizzy go, which was a very good decision in Kai's case specifically, though I think Soul's the one who actually fights her. But then Jam basically makes up some BS to be like, oh yeah, I took out the half gear, and then she gets the bounty money and opens the restaurant. Again, I already kind of tipped that away earlier. Again, I lost a round and I'm playing on beginner, so that's a good decision to lower the difficulty in my case. But again, it's just partly me talking, making it harder. Like, I'm not playing as optimally as if I was actually focused. Like, I would definitely not survive arcade, or like survival mode, with the way I'm playing right now. And yeah, not roaming canceling, because it's just unwieldy, and not using dust is definitely throwing me off a lot. Because stuff like that is like little conversions like that I'd be spamming constantly, but I'm not doing that because I would have to hit slash and heavy slash together, and that's just slightly more like cumbersome. Anyway, finally onto Dizzy yourself. I almost said Queen Dizzy. It's like, that's not yet, that's later. Yeah, I've never even beaten Dizzy on just easy difficulty. I'm trying to remember, I think there are cases where Dizzy can have a version of Wings of Light in some of the older games, like as a boss character. I don't know if it's X specifically. I don't think it is. I think it's Accent Core. There's just like a boss Dizzy in one of the story modes who can actually just straight up use Wings of Light, but instead of just gradually chipping away, it's just basically an instant kill. For all intents and purposes, I don't think it actually is, but it's ostensibly one. Like, you will live, but it's like Megalomania in Accent Core for Eno, where it's like, you will live, probably. It's not literally an instant kill, but it hurts so badly that you will probably not come back from it if you get hit. Again, in some ways it actually might be good that we are then behind schedule from where I was planning to be, just because if I want to do an arcade run of the Accent Core, that's going to take a bit, so... Yeah, maybe lumping that in with XR does actually make more sense, but again, I wish it was more because of my own decision, and not just because I chose drawing difficulty. I had to replay all this. But yeah, I really love Awe if She as a song, starting with Accent, well, actually X2, they shorten it, so the little, like, intro bit is cut down, which I think is a good call, because it's not really a great fighting game song for the little choral bit at the beginning. Even though I enjoy it, it's just not suitable for a fighting game. There's a lot of songs like that where it's not really good fighting game music. I almost feel like James' theme and Strive almost hits that problem. It's one of my favorite songs in the game now, but it has the problem of I just kind of feel like it's ill-fitting. I'm trying to just style on her. And it got blocked, that's fine. That's what I get for trying to style on her. Well, we kinda styled on her. Again, even on beginner, I did not have the best time in that fight, so... Again, good decision to lower it. Even if it did mean having to replay all that, though again, I would have to lower the difficulty anyway. Again, interesting win quotes from Jam. No chill. Yeah, then she, again, claims bounty money and then opens a restaurant, canonically. Again, nothing bad will happen to this restaurant, clearly. Nothing at all. And again, the story mode for X2, or not X2, X Plus, is sort of not canon, I'm pretty sure. Which is why it's interesting to try to cover it, also because it's not in English. But I almost feel like it's worth it. Also, I own the game now, so I just kind of want to have an excuse to play it again, though. I definitely wish there was like a translation patch, because people have translated the story. I wish someone would do a translation patch, because that would help a lot. Though I actually don't know the feasibility of patching this game. Like, I don't know if that'd be particularly possible. Never really thought about that before. But yeah, I still enjoy this game for what it is. I just feel like the arcade mode's really rough, and this game has like very little substance beyond that. There's like a survival mode, and that's kind of it. I actually don't even remember if the challenges from Plus are in this version, or if there are challenges. Because I guess one there were challenges in X Plus for like gallery images, and I don't know if that's the case here. Yeah, Jam's an interesting character, but not necessarily the most likable, which is why I actually find her kind of fascinating. Like, she's not, you know, the most noble, in a way that's, like, interesting. But again, mostly I played as her as my main in, Accent Core originally, just because I liked the design and she was easy to play. Because, like, May, I could not wrap my head around charge inputs, so I was like, nope, no thanks. Stuff like that is why I gravitated towards Jam specifically. It's just, you know, not wanting to learn certain inputs and stuff like that. And nowadays, I think I would be more willing to try a charged character. Jam is cute, correct. Again, weirdly enough, I didn't like Dizzy's original design just because it was so revealing that I felt self-conscious playing as her at the time. Even the XR design is a huge step up, even though it's like, she should have pants, probably. Or some kind of like dress or something. It's like a subtle change that really helps the design, even though it's not a huge deal. Again, for this particular retrospective, I'm not going to go as thorough. I'm not going to play advanced because, again, we're already behind time from where I wanted to be due to having to redo most of that arcade run. And I just don't feel like doing that a second time, but with worse graphics and worse music. It's actually, in my opinion, a fairly competent version in the loosest sense. The biggest issue is it's just really hard in the ears. So that must be my score in the Dizzy playthrough. Now that I think about it, because there was another one with the stream acronym specifically. So that's neat. But yeah, so instead of advance, we're just gonna... Actually, I don't know what order I went in, but the point still stands. We're gonna go straight to X+, but just for the sake of showing it off, when I do the YouTube version, I would like to put at least the ending text from Jam's GBA ending on screen, like right now, probably, just because I would like to show it off. That's the only major difference in story. Because instead of like the full illustrations, they just have like a character art and like a description of a story ending, which is not the most scintillating way to tell a story, but it is oddly more canon in some ways, and some of the stuff we'll be seeing in X Plus probably. But yeah, we'll move on to that momentarily. Yeah, no, that didn't exactly go the way I wanted, but it's fine. It'll be okay. And again, scheduling-wise, it actually might work better just saving Accent Core for next time. The only problem with saving Accent Core is XR. I don't know if I'll get through XR in time, because XR's story mode will probably be like 45 minutes, and like between the arcade run and everything, I don't know how long Accent Core is going to take. So, yeah, that might be awkward, but that's a bridge that I'll cross next stream. For now, I'm just going to run the ad break that I paused to get through the credits, and then we'll come back with Guilty Gear X+. Alright, I am back. I think I'm ready to jump back into this, so let's see how this goes. I also don't know if OBS is going to automatically catch it, if it's going to be titled something slightly different. But we'll see. I also need to turn this off. I also need to reset tracking real quick, because I'm probably not looking in the right direction. Right about there would be good. Okay, so we are moving on to Guilty Gear X Plus. We'll probably skip the intro this time and everything, because I think it's the same intro. But yeah, the big addition to Guilty Gear X Plus specifically is a story mode. I have to actually remember that Circle is now confirmed, so that's fun. But again, one of the really, really lovely things is we actually have the ability to map Dust and also RC, so that'll make my life so much easier. We probably won't struggle as much because I remembered the difficulty this time, and also just because of those slight tweaks. So yeah, let's give this a shot. We have our traditional roster, so we'll pick Jam as usual. Again, the one downside of this is, hey, the story is entirely in Japanese. This is basically set up. I don't know if this, yeah, this goes automatically, but this is basically just, you know, a description of Jam. Martial artist and a chef. She basically wants to go to where Dizzy is, the like forest where she is, because she's trying to find rare ingredients. So again, this story is like debatably canon, because again, in lore, I don't think she actually meets Dizzy at this point. I also don't remember if the text auto advances or if I have to advance it. I'm gonna give it a sec just to see if it auto advances. Yeah, it auto advances, that's cool, it makes my life easier. So Jam runs into Johnny. Also, hi Icy, welcome on in. Jam runs into Johnny and he immediately starts hitting on her, because of course he does. So basically she tells him off, tells him to go away, and then I guess they're gonna fight. Amazing storytelling, 10 out of 10, no notes. Johnny is such a fascinating character because he has noble characteristics. He's the Sanji of Guilty Gear, actually, now that I think about it. He's even blonde, and wait, no, Sanji doesn't use a sword. But it just kind of hit me, yeah, no, this is actually an apt comparison, I think. It's like, Johnny's a decent character as long as there are no women on screen. So yeah, Jam's story mode is weird. Like with Dizzy, we have to do all sorts of weird stuff to get all of our endings. For one thing, Jam only has 2 endings instead of 3. For Dizzy, as a reminder, because I actually double-checked it, ending 1, basically when Dizzy loses control, defeat Faust, instead of letting Faust defeat you. So that's a bad ending, where Faust heckin' dies, and then Dizzy goes into like a hibernation for thousands of years. Okay. Ending 2, she meets up with the jellyfish pirates. However, if you win the fight with the timer at a multiple of like 11, like Johnny, I'm pretty sure, dies and Dizzy's in charge of the pirates, and then there's a time skip. So again, a very weird ending. And then ending 2, that's ending 3. Ending 2 is like the most traditional. But that one just involves her becoming part of the jellyfish pirates. Anyway, Jam runs into Venom now. Basically, Venom tells Jam to leave, and then Jam, in all of her tact, asks if Venom wants to wash dishes at her restaurant. This is a recurring thing. I think this is still a thing in Strive. Like, hey, you want to work for me? And then it's like, no, okay. Like, that's still a thing I want to say based on some of her intro quotes, that she'll just be like, hey Bridget, you want to work at my restaurant? And that's like their exchange. Ignoring the elephant in the room of gestures at Accent Core's story, which we'll probably see next stream. Because, hoo boy, I don't know how I'm gonna process Accent Core's story. Basically, any story that involves Bridget in Accent Core is like secondhand pain in retrospect. Frankly, even at the time, I didn't really like Bridget, weirdly enough, because I was so like conflicted on like all the gender stuff with Bridget. So like I didn't even play as her back in the day at all. Ow. So I talked a little bit about like how weird it is to get Dizzy's endings. Jam is way simpler. There's 2 endings. It depends on if you gotta continue or not. Like, that's literally it. So, ending 1, which is the better ending, you don't want to use a continue. Ending 2, you have to use a continue. That's it. So, again, very weird, and we'll, again, speed through to the end, because very little will change in the interim of the story until the last fight, if I'm reading this correctly. Alrighty, so that takes care of that. So next up is Potemkin, who Jam assumes is also looking for ingredients. It also mentions that Potemkin could eat things in 1 bite, apparently. Potemkin is also very confused by why a cook is here. This is all supposed to be taking place near the forest where Dizzy and Testament are, but for some reason they don't reflect that in the stage backgrounds. They just use the default stages for every character, which is very weird. I don't understand it. But yeah, a lot of these conversations are interesting. Again, maybe not giving the best impression of Jam sometimes as a character. It's like, I feel like Jam would be a Fujoshi. Like, I don't know why, how to describe it, but I feel like Jam would be a Fujoshi. But yeah, I'm gonna have a time, because again, if I do like last time, I'm gonna like manually subtitle everything, and I'm going to drive myself insane doing so. Also because like the translations I've found online on like the Guilty Gear wiki, which I'm pretty sure also is like used in a game FAQs walkthrough, it's not the best translation, I feel. Again, there's a whole localization argument that could inevitably happen of like, you know, literal versus, you know, localized. And I do feel like there are issues with localized translations and literal translations both. Localizations can take too many liberties, but literal translations might miss details. So like there's stuff in Jam's story that literally involves like a Japanese homophone. So that's great. Very much a case of how the hell would they translate that into English if they ever were to translate this. I want them to translate X Plus someday, just because it's like the only main... Okay, that goes into a separate argument that I don't know if I want to unpack right now. Anyway, next is Kai. We get to see how thirsty Jam is. So, basically, she's getting close to the ingredients in question, and then Kai is like, why are you here? Please go. Please leave. To which Jam is like, oh my god, a hot guy. Canonically, Jam has a crush on Kai. It never goes anywhere, obviously. It's very one-sided, I'm pretty sure. And again, Kai mentions there are bounty hunters around because, you know, in the story, a bunch of bounty hunters are all trying to get Dizzy to claim a bounty of like $500,000 world dollars, I'm pretty sure. Is it 500k? That feels too low somehow. That's how much they give out for like free during Dual Rulers airing in Strive. There's one line that says bounty, there's a bounty out. I can't leave it like this. I don't know what it is in this context, so this is again a case where it's like, I feel like a localization would help that a lot. So again, sometimes you'll get these little fancy openings. This is actually a tell if you're on ending 1 or 2 for this, apparently. If you get an intro for Dizzy, that means you're on ending 2. If you don't, you're on ending 1, if I'm understanding this guide correctly. Also, with the little charges, you can stack them twice. I do not know if that's the case in Strive. I have not played Jam in that yet. I want to. Again, it's just a matter of, do I want to spend $25? Because I will want all the characters. I do not promise a Robokai Legacy, like, playthrough, because that's like 3 games, and I don't know if I want to suffer through Guilty Gear Isuka. The game hurt my hand when I played it. Also, we're getting close to the forest. Next up is Testament. So they are obviously guarding Dizzy. I won't forgive anyone who bothers her, so yeah, telling Jam to GTFO, and Jam's like, I'm just here for ingredients. So apparently there's a line from Testament where they mention like atonement, because like the word, according to this, Shokuzai is a homophone that can be atonement or ingredients, so there's a miscommunication here because of that. Hi Peter, thank you for the head pats. Again, for like the YouTube cut down version, I'm likely going to just caption everything, so you just have it. Again, translation courtesy of the Guilty Gear Wiki. But again, just to save time, I'm not manually reading all this out because it auto-scrolls. I would be out of breath fast. Again, Testament's very gender and their lack of gender. Thank you for the hydration check. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, we just need to get through this fight and then we're basically at the end. Again, we might have time for Accent Core, actually. Ow. That looks painful to me. One nice thing about X2 is you actually have voice acting for the story mode, and it's in English. That's obviously a plus. One thing I learned recently was that Reload, specifically, was only on PC and Xbox in the West, I'm pretty sure. So, like, you actually can't play, like, Reload on PS2 from what I understand. I was looking for a PS2 copy of Reload to see if it existed, and I couldn't find anything. So, yeah, it's kind of weird how limited certain releases are. I know, then Overture existed, too. Oh, shoot. I need to be very careful. Because, again, this is dependent on if you use a continue or not. Meaning, if I want to get ending 1... Ow. If I want to get ending 1, I actually have to win this fight. Oh my god. Oh my god. Reminder, this is on beginner, and I still almost ate dirt. Neat, okay. Well, that's one stressor down, but we're finally in the forest. I think this dialogue is also going to be the same, no matter what. But either way, basically there's a miscommunication because Jam's like, oh my god, look at all of these ingredients, and Dizzy's like, go away. And then, like, Jam tries to clarify that she just wants the ingredients, and then Dizzy takes it. It's like, are you going to eat me? Please don't come any closer. It's like, what is this story? It sure is something. Yeah. And then they fight. So again, if you're on ending 1, this should automatically go to the fight from what I understand. If it's ending 2, there should be a little bit of an intro. So yeah, we're getting normal intro, so that means we're on this. If we lose this fight, we will automatically be sent to ending 2 then. Which is the other interesting caveat of this, from what I gather. So yeah, we actually do have to, like, first try this fight. Which, stress. Yeah, I personally like Dizzy a lot as a character. I definitely relate to her a lot, but Jam is just easy, like, an easier character to play. I was talking to Zon about this the other day because Zon was talking about, like, learning a conventional character because there are, like, 2 characters that she gravitated to are Bedman and Jacko, which are neither of which are very conventional. Like, Jam is more of a fundies, like, kind of character, fundamentals, versus, like, kind of like specific niche playstyles. So again, I think Zon would actually vibe with Jam a fair amount, gameplay-wise. She's kind of mashy. I don't think as well, I guess depends on how you play her. But either way, for ending 1, Jam clarifies again that she doesn't want to eat Dizzy, which makes sense. I'm sorry, but you're carrying a knife and licking your lips. It's like, yeah, no, Jam does not always give off the best impression. Come in aside, I can read that much. This is a banger for, like, a chill ending song. So then she goes looking for ingredients and then talks about opening a restaurant. And then also invites Dizzy to come to said restaurant. And then, like, Dizzy asks what restaurant will it be, and then Jam says, the most popular in the city. Very confident. She also, a lot of times, will say, "Aya." That's basically a vocal sim for her, I'm pretty sure. She also likes impossibly tight outfits, goddamn. It's like, this isn't even the worst. X-Arts is worse. She's extremely vacuum sealed in X-Art, for a lack of a better term. I'm pretty sure I have to press button, but like, I'm kind of just soaking up the song for a moment. Yeah, again, I think we have to actually press something. Wait, what button do we press for that then? Start, I guess? So, again, we have the fun task of unlocking endings in this game, which means doing it all over again. Where the hell are you in this menu? Like, genuinely, where are you? There you are. So, for obvious reasons, we're going to skip through this. But, with the caveat of, I have to lose one set, essentially, in order to get onto the second ending route. So, yeah, I'm just gonna throw this match, and then I'll just play it out as normal. Oh right, I'm trying to throw. So how's everyone been today? As I set my controller down. The big gaming news of the day for me, personally, is Final Fantasy XIV patch drops, which I think adds, the, whatchamacallit, the Shadowbringer stuff. So you can be a Banui if you want. You can, you know, be a, I'm gonna, like, immediately go Dancer, probably, because I want a DPS class, and Red Mage isn't exactly doing it for me. You're wistfully yearning after being away from home for a bit. Aw, hugs you. I really hope I get a chance to see you sometime this year. It's looking as good as I was hoping it would. Luckily, it only is a one-round battle, so that's all we have to do. So we can just play out everything as normal. Yeah, I really hope I get to see y'all. Again, Zon is like the complicated one because of like job scheduling. And then travel's going to be a thing, and that's the reason I'm also kind of like, a lot of my plans to see everyone kind of just went down the drain, unfortunately. Because like, I don't think I should be flying right now, and I'm not going to elaborate further. So yeah, that's very awkward. See, now I'm having the feeling of, what if I push this stream long? Because I feel like if I just do X2s, it's not going to be that long, actually. Like, it's going to be a short stream if I do it, but also, I'm easing back in, so maybe I should give myself that grace. Accent Core took me a bit. It took me about an hour, I think, to get through Dizzy's arcade mode, just because, you know, sucks. I'm also trying to think of how our branches work now that I think about it. Because Jam's story mode might take longer because there's like 2 endings, but they deviate more to the point that it might actually show the other side of it. I don't know if I did that for Dizzy. I genuinely can't remember because that was like October 2024. So it's been a hot minute. That was one of the earliest streams I did, I'm pretty sure. By the way, you can use this in the air. You can oh, there's the counter. But yeah, you can actually go into from the DP into like back quarter circle. Again, normally I do like numpad, but I cannot do numpad and play this game at the same time. That's too much to ask of my poor brain. It's a very good super, compared to like her other, which is again just big orb. I'm just checking the weather. It's gonna be hot this weekend. It's like 81 on Sunday, damn. I don't like the heat. I like the cold. Yeah, this is not gonna take very long to get through this part of the story again. Again, X2 is gonna take a bit, I think. I don't think we'll go the full 3 hours, so just because X2 is gonna be short. Actually, again, there's this sort of feeling like, depending on how long X2 takes, I might be able to squeeze in the story of Accent Core at least. I'd have to double check the actual route though, because sometimes the routes are really annoying. I almost feel like Guilty Gear as a franchise, not to, you know... But I feel like the art style almost loses something later on, because like looking at the art for like X+'s endings compared to like Accent Core, these have a little bit more like stylized, a bit more stylized I feel. I didn't need the throw actually, because I'm getting kind of destroyed anyway. But we made it. Yeah, I hope you feel okay, Serena. I hope you had fun on your trip, actually. I haven't really asked you, like, how it went overall. It should be Kai. Like, there's sort of the mixed feeling where it's like I've been dating San the longest, but I also will probably meet her last, given how things will probably work out in the world right now, and that kind of sucks, actually. Like, I don't know, that almost feels unfair in a way, but if everyone's cool with it, then, you know, it's ultimately y'all's call. Also, it's like, I'm just so scared of flying because of regulations, that I just, you know, I think I project a lot of my fears onto other people, so like, I kind of forget, it's like, oh yeah, at least in some ways, it will be easier for everyone else to fly to me rather than me flying to them. So I should just let them. If they want to take that gamble, because, you know, everything's a gamble, you know, let them. Basically, it's kind of my overall feeling. I need to be less controlling out of fear for other people. But I do really hope I get to meet everyone someday. I don't even know where some people are, which is the funny part. Like, there are certain people where it's like, I don't even know what time zone they're in. Oh, Testament. Again, they don't know what to do with Testament, I feel. Like, the latest patch for Strive, like, most of the complaints are just Testament's kind of fudged up, like, in terms of, like, basic game plan. And the other big complaint is Happy Chaos has an infinite, but they are patching that next month. Happy Chaos in general is better, but he does have an infinite, so, yeah. It's a mix, but once the infinite's gone, then it will actually be okay. Hopefully. So yeah, I actually don't know if this dialogue is going to be the same. I see Sugoi, so this is probably the same. Yeah, I think this is the same. I'm gonna let it play out just to make sure, because I don't read Japanese. I can cross-reference. The guide I have doesn't actually say it's different, so that's why I'm assuming it's probably fine. Comparing this to my limited knowledge of Japanese, and it's like... Yeah, I think this is the same. Okay, let's see if I actually did it correctly and we get the alternate path. So yeah, her immediately starting with super, like that. That is an indication that we are on ending 2, which is arguably the bad ending. I feel like most of these games have like a good ending and a bad ending of varying degrees. Like Dizzy's endings mostly involve her accidentally like obliterating someone. Then her good ending involves her own family. So the juxtaposition is stark. Well, I didn't get a chance to do this in arcade mode, so let's try it here. Ow. There we go. Hell yeah, got to work. So, yeah, this ending isn't as cheery. Jam won the fight, but the problem is, everything's kind of obliterated around them. Which actually makes sense, given that she starts with, like, whatever that beam move is. I actually forgot the name of it. So yeah, everything's torched up around them to the point that there's no usable ingredients. Which then basically means Jam can't open a restaurant. I actually don't know what the ending image is exactly here. This very somber music. This game actually probably has a lot of unique music. Yeah, so everything's just torched around them. So obviously the least canon ending, but again, I would argue even the first ending's kind of dubious because, like, when Jam and Dizzy are supposed to meet in the story, which I don't think is during the timeline of X, if I'm remembering correctly. But believe it or not, that actually takes care of Guilty Gear X Plus too, because I'm not going to do another arcade run. I've already done 2 today, essentially. So we're going to move straight into Guilty Gear X2. So I can close that. And this is going to become a pain in the ass, because now I need to swap what application I'm actually capturing. And Reload really doesn't like to be tapped out. Like, Reload gets really mad if you tap out at any point. So, this will be fun. Alright, might break something here, very briefly. We need to actually click back in. There we go. So yeah, it looks like everything is actually working. And I hope I've audio balanced it correctly. Audio balancing these games is a nightmare. Sometimes these are just very loud games. Alrighty, moving on to Guilty Gear X2. I tabbed out if the music cut out abruptly there. Very fancy opening, but also looks kind of squashed for some reason. Like, it's a widescreen cutscene that definitely should be 4x3. I don't know why it's doing that. I thought it was supposed to be 4x3. Hi, Eno. Also, Zappa's here now. Also, Brisket's here now. And Slayer. Damn, a lot of, like, really, like, classic characters are here now. It's gonna be weird going forward, because, like, Eno's gone in the story, so I don't know how that's gonna work out in the future. Like, genuinely, I have no clue how they're gonna go forward without, like, Eno, because she's such a staple character. Well, it's like probably a function, not to use a term that's very hated in fighting game communities. Wow, this game feels quiet, but when I was in testing, it felt really loud, so... also for legal purposes, not legal purposes, but full disclosure, I didn't do all this myself, I downloaded a save. At some point I actually do want to genuinely go through and unlock everything manually, but it's just a pain in the ass to do so. I'll probably talk about it in a moment. Post-war, Min Bureau Report 7403, Cham Cloudberry, height 5'4", weight unknown, birthday February 8, blood type B, race human Chinese. Though she is a chef, subject is one of the world's most proficient wielders of Ki Force. Of the 5 occult arts, the field of Ki energy is the least explored and understood. Most of its users are of Eastern descent, aiding the theory that heredity plays a role. Subject's life goal is to discover new and useful cuisines. Control will not be an issue. Although she poses little threat in and of herself, her capture is still desirable. Therefore, she should not be taken lightly. Risk rating C. Damn. So I guess while trying to capture Jam, Robokai torched the restaurant. Again, this is just a thing that happens. It's just her restaurant gets blown up a lot. Though I don't even think this is supposed to be like our Robokai, quote unquote. This is just a generic Robokai trying to like capture it, because in one of the endings you have to fight like 3 of them. I like how the restaurant is like visibly like damaged back there. Jam does have a few new moves, by the way. So this is like a down, like a 3H, essentially, if I'm reading this right. Or is that Accent Core, actually? No, that's Accent Core, my bad. She has a new, like, 6H, but that won't be an issue. Okay. So, her endings are weird. If you want to get the ending 3, you have to IK Robokai. And we're getting ending 1. Okay, moving on. Ending 2 depends on if you lose to Robokai here. Which we almost dangerously got close to. Again, I do want to do all 3 endings, it's just gonna take a bit.
Hmm?
もしかして私の店に火をつけたのはあなたあるか
どけ。
逃がさないあるよ
I do not know why she's confusing Robo-Kai with Soul of all characters. I was expecting regular Kai if this were to happen. Like, this is worse than like an Amy Rose. One thing I always liked about X2 is you have the little like things in the corner. Instead of portraits, they have the little sprites animating. It probably is like harder for it to run, which is unfortunate. But it's like, for some reason, there's a lot of lag in this version. Like sometimes I'll just drop frames. And it's like a PC game from like 2005. It should be running better, you'd think. But sometimes it actually will run worse because of that. I think Cham has a new super too. Is it back? I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on. Yeah. Again, this shouldn't take too long. Again, I just don't know if we'll have time for Accent Core on top of this. Also, her story mode. Oh.
逃げ足の速い男あるね他に怪しいやつはいないあるか 怪しい男あるよ。そこの変態袋頭。
私のことですか？
私の店燃やしたのあなたあるか？
違いますとも。今人追ってるので失礼しますよ。
逃げるとは怪しいあるね。ちょっと待つある。
Again, it's so nice having an English story. But yeah, her arcade mode in Strive is actually really long. I think it's divided into 3 chapters of like 8 full stages each, and you can like choose which chapter you want to do. So yeah, that's basically why scheduling this like little playthrough is so hard, because of because of trying to work around Strive, like her story mode in Strive being abnormally long. Otherwise I would just like lump. Actually, you know, to be fair, this is a retrospective going into Strive. I guess it actually makes sense to do Strive as its own stream. Potentially. Why am I having such a hard time with that input? I was having a really hard time getting 623 to work. Okay, why the hell are my inputs dropping so bad? Like, why was the PS1 game more responsive than this? I think it's missing diagonals. I think that's my issue. Is for some reason this controller in this game is having a harder time with diagonals. It's probably skipping.
もしもし、少しお話を。
あいや、おかまの正体、あなただってあるか？
はい、放火魔。
その制服、あの時確かに見てあるよ。のこのこ出てくるとはいい度胸ある。覚悟するある。
神よ、これもあなたの与えたもうた試練ですか。
If this game was more popular, I wish that would be a meme. I don't know, that's just a very good line, and I genuinely wish that I saw that more as a like reaction image. Oh shoot, I'm on the right this time. Oh, she mad. Okay. So, yeah, at least this makes sense that she would confuse Kai for Robokai. Also, I wonder what that means, if they'll acknowledge this at all in Strive. Because again, like, canon and Guilty Gear are so loose at this point that like what is so canon, I have no clue. Because they've kept some things, like the loose framework is still there, but a lot of specifics are not applicable anymore. It's very interesting how loose the storytelling is in some ways, but it's a fighting game. It is interesting in that way.
こいつの違うあるか？本当にどこ行ってあるか？
これは興味深い。
そこ何者ある？
ほほう、君も気を使うか。狙われるわけだ。
狙う？あなたが火をつけてあるか？
違うと言っても信じまい。正直に言えばその技に興味もある。
なら中華4000年の技を食らえあるよ。
And we get to fight Slayer now, so that'll be fun. Hi Sharon. Bye Sharon. She's fine, she'll be okay. It's like weirdly romantic in a bizarre way. It's like both are immortal, and since he has to drink blood, it's like she can't die. Yeah, I know it looked like she just shriveled up there, but she's fine. Like, genuinely. Like, Guilty Gear lore is so weird. Slayer was always a character that stood out to me when I first played the game just because of how unique he is, but also I don't feel like I got particularly invested in the lore at the time. Didn't really do a lot of the story modes from what I recall. Yeah, mostly got into the lore more recently. Why is it not taking my quarter circle? Or like half circle? There we go. By whiff, because I was... Yeah, I'm actually having an easier time with the analog than D-pad in this one. I'm struggling a lot with supers on this D-pad. Which sucks. I should probably switch controllers, but trying to reset a controller on a 2004 PC game is not the easiest thing in the world, so I'll let it ride.
堪能させてもらった大陸の技は一味違う。
お前が他もあるか？
どう見えるね。
あの時は火と煙でよく見えなかったけど。違う。あなた他もじゃないあるね。
忠告しておくが、君の持つ木の技を狙う輩がいるらしい。店を焼いたのもそいつらだな。
そうだったのあるか。
ではさらばだ。気をつけてな。
ジャムクラドベリーさんですね。
誰あるか？
お命ちょうだい。
こいつ気を使うあるか
？Okay, not to feel like a fake fan, I actually didn't remember that Chip also used Key. I don't know if that's a thing that just is established and comes up a lot, but I do not remember that. Which is very funny to be like, yeah, no, that caught me off guard. Can't put some pants on. Yeah, that's just how she rolls in this game. Ow. Okay. Ow. Like, yeah, I'd have to actually double check if that's an established piece of lore or not, or just something specifically in this game that comes up. Because again, it feels like there's a lot of things that just kind of come up in this game and nowhere else. Oh shoot. Okay, you only have to hold one direction to block that. That's actually not that bad. There we go, finally got that to land. Anyway, second to last opponent, from what I'm seeing at least. Piece of cake.
そこに隠れてるのはお見通しある。
ギッギッギッ。よくぞ見破った。抵抗は無意味。直ちに降伏せよ。
焼けた店弁償するやろし。
バカめ。貴様の技はすべて学習済みだ。
So yeah, this fight will be different if you did land the IK on Robokai in the first fight. Apparently, that leads to the other ending, which is a whole thing, but we'll do that after. Damn, you're already at like 80% from just the intro. I feel like ending 1s tend to be a little bit easier. Ending like 2 and 3, despite being the less canon ones, ends up being a little bit more like specific in how to unlock them. Which feels slightly backwards in some ways, but oh well. Alrighty, wait, actually, can you combo that? Okay, so they do limit you and how much you can chain. Hey, a clash. We haven't gotten one of those in a while. Now, before I actually move on, I just want to double check this real quick. Yeah, I was doing it right. There we go. Yeah, that's a new super. Voila. I missed it. Well, I hit the one, so that's something. Ow. So yeah, 2 more endings after this. Every character... It's more standardized in this game. Every character has 3 endings versus like the other game where... Oh, he's regenning. Oh. Yeah, I think he's regaining health. So I actually need to be a little bit more, on the ball. A lot of the boss characters do actually have slight, changes to them. So I actually wish I'd noticed that sooner, because I would have probably just done an IK or something. The only problem with fighting games having story modes is sometimes things will not be subtitled, so it's like, good luck. That's why they started him at a health deficit, because he regens, probably. Yeah, like that did nothing. Like, he just tanked that. Also, okay, I think I see what's happening. Our normal's not working. I think he's only vulnerable to, like, specials. Okay, this might be a... Yeah, that's a terrible idea. I don't think we can do this now. Cool. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. So just entirely specials. And yeah, he is regenerating. So I do think IK is the way to go. It's just a matter of landing it. Yeah, I think AI is her vocal stim. Okay. If I had one complaint, I wish I could skip this. It's cool the first time. Less cool the second, and now third time. Also, I don't even really hear any music, but it would probably be Holy Orders, question mark, and that is on purpose, the way I'm saying it. So that's not the worst thing in the world to not hear it. I wonder what the hell this theme is going to be in, Strive, or if it's even this, like... What Robokai it is the $1,000,000 question, because, like, at this point they're just mass-produced, probably. So, in this point in the story, they're mass-produced. I actually don't know what the hell they're gonna do in Strive, story-wise. Oh. Damn it, okay. So yeah, if you just whiff that, you're just kinda SOL, because you kinda need this super in this. So yeah, this is actually a hard fight. I like how I was, like, saying this wasn't that bad, and now I'm actually getting kinda bodied, so oopsie. He'll talk shit, get hit. At least you can unlimited retry this one. And not end up on a different route, because that was kind of the scary part about the previous one. Like, with Dizzy in the last one, is if we die, we have to do everything over again. I mean, we could just chip him out with moves like this, I guess. Like, worst case scenario. Because, like, trying to land an IK is not exactly proven to be that, easy. Yeah, so normals don't work on him at all. We can chip him out with... Oh yeah, burst is a thing now. I kind of forgot, actually. I should be using burst. Just playing a game that didn't have it, I totally spaced it out. That's an option for us. Yeah, so... we can also just timer scam, worst case scenario. Wow, this D-pad is not my favorite, actually. This is like the most intense workout this controller's gotten, and like, it's not exactly passing the test here. I'm gonna be real. Like, it's not a bad controller inherently, it's just, you know, for this specific genre, I don't think it's good, it's like cut out for fighting games specifically. He just lets me do this, which I'm surprised he is. Actually, no, we're done. No, that's not gonna KO, is it? Barely, cool. That took way too many tries. Partly because I didn't realize he was 1 regenning and 2 immune to normals.
面白いサンプルだ。
やった
早速解析して開発部に回せ。次のシミュレーション体はこいつがいいかもしれんな。
So I assume this is like conclave stuff. Just as a guess. This is, would technically be the conclave at this point. It's post-war administration bureau for sure. I also don't remember if I let the credits play every time, or if I just skip them. I probably would have skipped them, huh? Instead of watching them 3 times? Yeah, so we're gonna skip. Oh, let's just fast forward anyway. That's fine. I like how they have the Windows staff before the original staff. That's interesting. Yeah, this is basically just the original PC version of this game, so that's part of the reason why it's a little scuffed. Alrighty, moving on. So we gotta do that 2 more times. Sort of. Okay, so note to self, use the analog stick for this. Second note, we're gonna do path 3 before path 2. Just, it makes sense that way, IMO. It should play out the same. The big deviation should happen near the end. But I'll check the story a little bit just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Again, this fight we have to basically do the same thing, but the problem is we have to win with an IK, which is gonna suck. There's no easy reset either. So, this is gonna be annoying. Just gonna let that tension gauge build up a bit. And he blocked it, so... I could have just gone to character select, that would have been faster. Yeah, maybe it's a good thing that things worked out that I'm not gonna attempt accent core today, because this might take a bit. Alrighty, attempt number 2 at landing this IK. See how this works out. I like how I shoved them to the corner instinctively. That's kind of a strive thing, I feel. I mean, that's most fighting games. You want to get them into the corner. The problem with Jam is one of her main mix-ups will then move her into the corner. God, do I want to do this from the right or the left? And you blocked it. Okay. Oh my god, why is Jam so far down the list too? I have to scroll all the way over every time. Attempt number 3. This feels like it's going worse than Dizzy's story, which is actually surprising me, because 1, I was way rustier back then. 2, I was kind of expecting to have an easier time with Jam just because I understand her game plan better, as in it's very, you know, action-y versus, you know, Dizzy that's more set play dependent. Okay. Luckily the last path will not be as hard to get. This one's just kind of the fluke. Attempt number 4, I think? We almost just lost organically, but I want to do ending 3 first. If you lose this one, you end up on ending 2, though. Again, gotta charge up the tension gauge to just buy you some more time to do this. Robokai has a different gauge. I don't know how that works at all, because I've never played this sim. I'm pretty sure. Oh, that's the wrong input. Wow, you're just spamming stuff, huh? Wow, this is actually really weirdly difficult. Can I not leave this menu? I was gonna check the difficulty again, because like, wow, this feels hard. Attempt number 5 or 6? Oh my god. I did not expect to be here so long. On just this part of getting into the next route. Okay, I see how it is. Again, the problem is he's just kind of spamming. Like, so many moves that it's hard to really get in, and he's blocking. So yeah, trying to land this IK is shockingly difficult. There we go. Oh my god, that was the weirdest way to not have that work. Again, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this. I have completely lost track of how many attempts this has taken. And this is stage 1, but after this it'll just basically be the same route again. So that's like one mild relief to all this, is like you can kind of skim through the rest up until a certain point where it starts to deviate. And again, I think the ending that involves losing to Robokai is not going to be a problem, because he is giving me so much trouble. I'm genuinely, after this, probably going to check the difficulty, because we might be having the same problem of me accidentally leaving it on hard. Or like easy even. No clue what attempt number this is. Oh my god. I just want to land this IK, because I want to get the ending. It's like, why is it so difficult? This is the story mode, not arcade. Oh my god. It's like, it's hard to even get a hit in. And that clashed. Okay, I'm gonna check this real quick. I don't understand what's happening. Team option. It is on beginner. I do not know what the problem is then. Like, genuinely, I have no clue why I'm having this much trouble landing this. On stage 1. This is probably getting close to like attempt number 9 at this point. Which is like, yeah. The problem with an IK is you only have one chance to land it, so that's part of the reason this is so annoying. Meaning you have to just restart the entire fight every time I whiff it, basically. Because otherwise, yeah. It doesn't exactly give you a chance. There's only one round story mode fights. Now he's guarding so much, I'm probably not going to be able to get in enough to land it. There we go, finally. That took way too long. Voila. So that should send us on to the other route. I actually don't know if this cutscene is different now that I think about it. Okay, that's the same. But I think the rest of the story should play out exactly the same, so we're just gonna kind of speed through here until we get back to Robokai. Also, ads are coming up, so I'm gonna pause and then we'll finish X2. This has turned into more of an ordeal than I was expecting. Oh my god, I genuinely hope accent core goes smoother than this. Hi, I realized I wasn't actually muted during that. My bad. I wasn't really saying anything, but still. Oh hi! Does the bunny try hard to try hard? Yes, I would say so. The bunny is not in this game. Unfortunately, the bunny is a new thing. But hi, thank you for the resub star. Did you know this bunny is cute? Yeah, let's get back to it. Yeah, no bunny until a little bit later in the franchise, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm trying to go through all the story endings of this game, Guilty Gear X2. I'm losing my mind. I don't know why I'm struggling so much today. Maybe it's just because of coming into a fighting game after a break. Maybe that wasn't a good idea on my part. Is it scaled properly? I think the screen is scaled properly. It looked off for some reason. Why is the music still going? I need to pause that. So I'm not losing my mind from 2 songs playing at the same time. Anyway, let's hop back to it. Oh my god, this has turned into more of an ordeal than I was expecting it to be. But again, maybe jumping straight into this after a week off was not smart. But again, I wanted to get through this in the month of April because Jam is still relevant. Again, don't even own Strive's DLC yet, so I don't know if I'll cover that or not. Guess that'll be a decision for future me to figure out. I also don't know how long like XArts is gonna take, so Strives will probably be its own stream. We'll see on that. Again, we're kind of just skimming the story at this point because we've already seen most of this. I'm gonna reset tracking again. It feels off somehow. It's like I'm looking at the ceiling for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway. And again, this will probably be cut down significantly into like an episodic format for my YouTube exclamation point YouTube. And again, I have a lot of ideas in mind for this YouTube channel. A lot of them involve Guilty Gear. A lot of them involve Resident Evil, weirdly enough. Like, I realized the Resident Evil timeline's a complete trash fire now because Requiem. Like, I had the realization that Requiem incorporates elements of both timelines. Like, literally both timelines, essentially, because they diverge in small ways. So it actually kind of makes no sense that Requiem consists of elements of both classic and modern Resident Evil. It's really fascinating, IMO. The only problem is I'd actually have to play a bunch of Resident Evils to get footage of them, and oh boy, that might be a lot for my mental health, playing all that Resident Evil back to back, but you never know. Again, one of the only times Kai or Jam is not, like, super down bad for Kai, because she just thinks he's Robo-Kai. It doesn't happen very often. Okay. Just gonna do this, I guess. The other concern they have for Accent Core is the story branch in that case also involves landing an IK, except instead of the first match, it's on like 1, a very tough opponent to like get in close to, and 2, it's like 4 matches in. So I don't know how I'm gonna go about doing that actually. That's gonna be a pain, though I think you can just lose in that case, so I wouldn't have to do all the weird, like... Yeah, I would just have to throw. I wouldn't be able to just reset back to title, which is kind of worse in a way. Hi Sharon, again. If only Sharon was playable. I don't know what moveset she has. I don't think she has any powers other than just being immortal, essentially. Also, Serena's very cute. If that has not been said enough today. Yeah, I like Jam's theme a lot. I'm very normal about it. I've been hyperfixating on it for like almost a month now. It's very good. It's kind of the song I needed right now, to be blunt about it. I keep accidentally doing the charge up instead of on purpose, which means I'm only getting one thing charged up. But yeah, you can do it with all of, like, you can do it with slash, heavy slash, and kick as well. Again, don't remember how she works in X-Arts, so that'll be a fun thing for me in a few days to figure out. Alright, almost there, just gotta get through Chip. Again, I'm pretty sure all the story is the same up to this point, so that's why I'm speedrunning it. I'm back at the restaurant for some reason. Not me thinking like the waitress in the background is kind of gender. Yeah, it's kind of dilapidated, probably just because I kind of wish there were different backgrounds depending on the story, because like, you know, this does not look like a restaurant that just burned to the ground. God, again, I don't think I like this controller's D-pad. I think the D-pad's kind of bad on it, which was one of the main complaints I saw about this one, is that the D-pad sucks, especially for like fighting games. And I agree, this is not a good D-pad, so I'm actually using the control stick more. I might actually, yeah, for the next stream with Accent Core, which will be an easier game to run, hopefully, I might actually just use the DualSense, because I think it'll actually be more feasible, like, to do certain inputs. My only problem is my PS5 DualSense is starting to drift, and I fixed it enough, but I'm trying to preserve the controller as long as I can, because I do like it, and it costs $75. Alrighty, we are caught up.
よくぞ見破った。
証拠りもなくまたやられに来たあるか。
ターゲットの戦闘能力は計算済み。集団戦闘が適切と考えられる。
あいや、またいるあるか。片っ端からかかってくるあるよ。
Okay, so instead of fighting one Robokai, we have to fight a bunch of Robokais. Oh no. I got worried when the cutscene was starting because it's like, oh no, is this just the same cutscene? Because I thought it was supposed to be different. But yeah, we are on the different route. This is path 3 specifically. But again, path 2 requires losing the first round, so we're gonna do that after this. And again, we should have an easier time with that route if all goes well. I do have to fight Ino as a boss, so I don't know if that's gonna go great, because like Megalomania is still gonna be a problem potentially. Again, if she has her boss moveset, I mean. Yeah, Gem is an interesting character. Again, I think most of my grievances with the character from Xrd because of the way she's written in that localization. And then like the way she talks to Bridget, which is just most characters, to be blunt. There's some level of like secondhand like with like most Bridget dialogue past or before a certain point. It's kind of funny in hindsight, me not wanting to play Dizzy because her outfit's very revealing, and then seeing Jam's victory screen, and it's like, I don't know what I was on about as a kid. Or as a teen, I wasn't really a kid at that point. That reminds me, I actually considered doing like accent core for Fox Girls Favorites, but the reason I'm not is like, oh yeah, I'm doing so many playthroughs of these games, just inherently. Because it's like doing like little quick looks of all the different story modes. It's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna get my fill. Wait a minute. Okay, this one's only weak to normals, I think. Like, this one's not weak to specials, it's only weak to normals. That's really weird. Because I'm someone who spams normals a lot. Her 6P actually hits twice, that's interesting. I assume that's like the little red bar is still the risk gauge, as usual. Again, forgetting I could actually be bursting this entire time. Because that was not in X. Actually, what are throws? Oh, throws count, okay. Throws are normals, got it. Right, because the throw wasn't doing anything against him the previous time. This is really weird, not actually using normals. They still knock him back, which is good, it's just they're not effective to actually deal damage. Alright, 2 down. I don't remember how many Robokais you have to fight here. At least 3. Got it. Everyone's just kind of vibing. Again, these backgrounds are actually really nice. I do like, and I guess I can talk about it more when we get to accent core again. Okay, what is your gimmick? I don't know what your gimmick is. Actually, do you have faster gauge charging? It almost feels like his gauge is charging up really quickly. Like, abnormally fast. Like, he's also, I think, moving faster, so this could be like gold. Like, because like there's different versions. There's like a shadow version and a gold version. This might be a gold version, just based on like his movement speed and everything. But that's just kind of me BSing, like throwing an idea at the wall. I don't actually know for sure if that's the case. That's stunned, okay. I mean, you can actually press that really late. Probably shouldn't be standing in the pink ominous circle. Wow, that actually has a lot of reach, damn. Neat, okay. The one walkthrough I found only lists Robokai twice.
せ。支援機参上。参上。参上。
まだこんなにいるあるか？
そこまでです。
まだ新手が？
違いますよ。助けに来ました。
あなたはあの時
来るのが遅れてすいません。こいつらの相手は私に任せてください。
の。わかったある。
気をつけてください。他にも洗脳された者がいるみたいですから。
す。これがそうあるね。こっちは引き受けてあるよ。
I like how one walkthrough I found says you have to fight 2 Robokais, another walkthrough I found says you have to fight 4. It was neither, it was 3. I'm pretty sure it was 3. Anyway, our final opponent in Path 3 is May of all characters, who is brainwashed. I don't know why Robokai can brainwash people. I feel like I missed something. Ow. Interesting trade. I was watching a video actually on what's the difference between a trade and a clash, and I already forgot the definition they gave. I'm being real, I already zoned out that. I'm like someone who has trouble retaining information, so even if I learn something, I'll immediately forget it sometimes. There we go. Cool. There we go. Piece of cake.
怖いあるね。
Why was the first Robokai the hardest part of this?
ありがとうございます。おかげで助かりました。
お礼を言うならこっちあるよ。
いえ、民間人に類を及ぼしたのは我々の落ち度です。終戦管理局という団体が政府の上層部にまで食い込んでいるようなのです。
元気ないあるね。
情けないのです。奴らが法と正義を腐らせているというのに、私ときたら何も有効な手を打てないでいる。
そうやって落ち込んだら負けね。そういう時は美味しいもの食べるのがいいあるよ。
そうかもしれませんね。
せっかくいい日和ある。食べに行かないあるか？
しかし仕事がありますので。ご迷惑をかけたお詫びです。ご一緒しましょう。
そこなくちゃ。ささ、元気出すあるよ。
I was just about to say, this is like the most normal jam has ever been around Kai, and then this image popped up. It's like, okay, I take that back. Just a bit. You know, jam is a bit down bad. Anyway, once again, I'm gonna skim through this, I guess. And then this is actually one of the happier endings, now that I think about it. I actually don't know which of Jam's endings is considered the quote-unquote best one. Serena, why are you saying this is Yuri? This is heterosexual. Unless you're now on board Zon's position of force-swimming Kaikisk. But anyway, one more for the road. Hopefully we don't have any major hurdles with this one. We shouldn't, actually. Because we actually have to lose, so we don't have to deal with all the BS in round 1. Skipping ahead for the sake of time, because this is already taking forever. So yeah, according to this, we have to deliberately lose this fight. So thank goodness we don't have to do any weird conditions until Accent Core. Which Accent Core's whole thing is a weird looking flowchart. I don't know how I feel about that. Also with Dizzy's story, I don't know if I actually mentioned it, but there is a branch in Dizzy's story that doesn't really lead to a different ending, just a slight deviation. I don't think I showed it because I didn't really have a chance because both deviations are in ending 1's path. But in this case, the two deviations in Jam's story are actually in the first half. So before the ending deviation. Meaning it should be possible to actually do both across both runs. Again, the only problem is having to land another IK to try to actually get that to work.
Ah, 程よく焼けていい匂い。
誰あるか？
みすぼらしいお店がなくなって、この辺もすっきりしたわね。
何を言うわるか？ひょっとしてあなた、さっきのやつの仲間あるか？
だったら、どうする？
ちょっと警察まで来てもらうわる。
Yes. You know? She's just kind of here to cause problems on purpose, I'm pretty sure. It's like, I don't know why she's here. Again, the restaurant looks pretty good for just having burnt down. I think Strive does mention she's lost like 3 restaurants, which... I'm actually trying to do the math on that, unless Accent Core counts separately. Like, if there's another restaurant burning down in Accent Core that I don't remember. But again, that's what I mean by, like, the core outline is still intact, but, like, specific nuances of these stories don't feel like they're canon anymore. Yuna is a very fun character, though. Her guitar is actually based on a real guitar. I've actually seen which model it is. I cannot tell you off the top of my head, though. It's one of those things where as like a Guilty Gear fan, I think it would be fun to own that guitar model, but it's probably very expensive. Anyway, that was significantly easier than some of the stuff we've done today.
そんな顔しないで。ちょっとからかっただけだから。仲直りのお礼にこれあげる。
これは手配書？
お金がいるんでしょ？その腕なら立派な賞金稼ぎになれるわよ。
それはもう経験済みある。またあの生活に逆戻りあるか。そこの男、神妙にお縄につくあるね。賞金は私のものあるよ。
ほう、賞金稼ぎか。悪いが実験台になってもらおう。
Interesting. I'm actually looking at the list of opponents. I'm like kind of confused by one, but the other two almost make sense. Alright, Venom. We'll see how this goes. That's an interesting stage. I don't think that was the same stage as that you had in X. So that's cool. Like, I think it was just Zato's stage, which I guess makes sense because Assassin's Guild and all that. Which again, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Venom, Milia, and Zato 1 are all part of... Actually, Zato's dead at this point, now that I think about it. So it actually does make sense why 2 out of the 3 seem to be in this route. Wow, perfect, okay.
まずは1人目。次の賞金首はこれ。金髪の目標にするあるね。男女構わず誘惑し、変幻自在の髪を用いて仕留める陰微な魔女。 ひどいやつね。
誰？
見つけてあるよ。変幻自在で陰美の魔女。覚悟するよろし。
痛感するわね。女性に必要なものは慎みだわ。
Dang, okay. But yeah, it's like 2 of the 3 Assassin's Guild members, which makes me wonder about the next opponent. Something really funny could happen. I hope it happens, because I actually don't remember ever doing the story mode. Well, actually, I never played Reload when I got into Guild Q in the first place, and I never really delved that deep in the story mode. So yeah, it actually probably is the case that... You know what, I've actually, on a technicality, I've never actually beaten this game, because I've never done arcade mode in X2, I'm pretty sure. I think I've only done Accent Core's arcade mode, because it's close enough that I just kind of rolled with it. But yeah, on a technicality, I've never actually done all the story modes, and I've never done arcade mode with, like, any character. So, like, in a way, I've actually never beaten this game now that I think about it. I should rectify that at some point.
こいつは何の騒ぎだ。
あ、お前も賞金首あるね。
嬉しいね。積極的なアプローチは嫌いじゃないぜ。
Again, it's like they had met in X Plus's story, but this doesn't really confirm anything. Also, my hope for this was that, like, because there's 2 Assassin's Guild members, that the twist would be like she thinks this is Otto. Like, that was what I was hoping would happen, but oh well. It would've been funny. IMO. Ow. Alright, piece of cake, I think. I feel like the main ship is like weirdly off color in this game compared to like most other appearances where it's more like an orangish ship. Maybe I'm used to like XR and Strive. But I want to say it's red in X as well. Maybe time of day. Yeah, I think it might be a time of day thing.
賞金首じゃないあるか。
ああ、あんたの手配書は間違いだらけだ。ミリアの賞金は東欧の昔に解除されてるぜ。もっとも俺の賞金は本当だけどな。
ショックある。
あんた誰かにはめられたんだな。心当たりは？
まあ、許さない
どう？賞金稼ぎははかどってる？
やろよくも騙してくれたあるね。
やっと気づいたか。この料理バカが。あんたのおかげで虫けらどもがいい具合に潰し合ってくれたよ。さーて、あとはまとめて焼き捨てるだけだ。
そうはさせないあるよ。
Alrighty, final boss of GM's second path. We got Eno. Apparently this is boss Eno. So, oh no. That's all I have to say is, oh no. Oh god, how is this gonna pan out? Given how much I've been struggling today at this game. Yeah, I'm worried for obvious reasons. I need to be using RC and Burst more. That's what I actually need to do. Because, like, you know, there's no... Well, I guess now there's no Wild Assault period. But, like, you know, in this game, there was no other real use of Burst other than, you know, as a Burst. Are you healing? Or did I just not do any damage that whole time? I can't tell, but it feels like she should have taken more damage by now. Yeah, no, it kind of looks like she's healing. Yeah, no, she's healing. Oh, that's bad. Again. So yeah, the guy I have says that this is boss Ino specifically, so that makes me wonder if like she can use her like supers and everything. But also even without that, we still lost. That's fine. Just gotta try again and hope for the best. And again, at least you can skip the intros in this game. That's a relief, at least. Alright, one round. See how this goes. I doubt she'll let us get away with an IK either, to be honest. Yeah, actually, this might be the best bet is to just spam. Then again, mixing up with that move is a decent option. Yeah, you can actually do the kick into the, like, other move, the overhead. I'm assuming this is an overhead at least, just based on how it looks. Like, wait, actually, can you? I could've sworn you could. But now I'm actually there we go. I was just messing up the input. Well, we're doing better this time. Second try, I would take. Yeah, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this D-pad though. Well, good to know. Cause I haven't really even played like Strive with this D-pad. Like how I was saying I was like doing really good, and now I'm like in danger. Like massively in danger. Especially if I keep whiffing. Oh, that was not a quarter circle forward. Oh. Yeah, this doesn't bode well for arcade mode and accent core, cause she's worse than that. Also, with Dizzy's story, we didn't have this much trouble, but also makes sense, because if you lose, then you actually have to redo the entire story mode. It gives you an ending for losing to Ino. So it actually makes sense that Dizzy's version of Ino in story mode is actually easier than Jam's, where you can just retry as much as you want. At least that's kind of my feeling on it, at least. Just kind of my read on this. Oh no. Oh god. Okay. Actually don't think she can regen like this in arcade mode, at least that's something, but also she hits really hard too. Yeah, I do not know why this won't go through on this on this controller. Like, it really does not want to take a half circle on this D-pad, so I'm probably just gonna have to use the stick for the rest of this. Actually, I could have done IK, but that's done, now that I think about it. Alright, yeah, I don't know why I keep going back to the D-pad. I've already established that's not a good idea. Actually, I'm having trouble with the control stick now. There we go. That's not gonna kill her because she regened enough. But she's still in danger zone. Let's do it again, I guess. See if that works. At least we can easily get a time over. Oh, maybe not. I need to stop jinxing myself. Is that enough? That might be enough. Cool. That was rough. But we did it. It just took a lot of tries again.
本当に迷惑かけて申し訳ないある。せめてものお詫びにごちそうするあるね。
たおやかなレイディーたちとの食事は望むところさ。なあ、ミリア君。
汚い手で私に触れないでくださる？
失礼した。君の美貌に酔ったようだ。
美貌だと？この女の本性を知らないからそんなことが言えるのだ。
今、なんて言った？
二人ともお酒はそのぐらいにしたらどうあるか？
うるさい。お前のせいでザトウ様は。
私が生きるためよ。あんな男何度だって殺すわ。
貴様
と、せっかくのディナーだ。 無粋な真似はなしにしようぜ。
うるさいわね。そこをどきなさい。
まあまあ、そう言わずに。
くらえレイムボガー。
おお。
刻めアイアンメイデン。
ええ。
屋台がもう台無しある。
So, this kind of gives a lot of context, with the canonicity of this or not. Like, notwithstanding, this kind of explains why Jam's theme is the way it is, because God, your luck is bad with, like, the her restaurant is constantly getting destroyed, it's constantly getting absolutely wrecked. To the point of like, yeah, no, her theme makes a lot of sense. The whole, like, pick yourself back up and keep trying mentality is there for a reason, because, chronically unlucky. Honestly, I actually like Jam a decent amount as a character. She just has a few moments that are like, God, what were they thinking? And again, most of those are in Accent Core, which is retroactive now that we have like the whole story of Bridget, so it's not entirely fair to be overly judgy about that. But the other bigger issue is just how she's localized in specifically XR Rev 2. Unrevelator, she wasn't in Sign from what I understand, so yeah. 2000s localizations, XR was 2017, I wanna say. It kind of makes sense though, actually, if you think about it, because that was kind of that era where people were really pushing for literal translations. I think it was also a different publisher too. It was Axis, AKSYS. So yeah, it was a different publisher. Revelator doesn't even have a dub, unlike Sign, so only half of this game is even dubbed at all. Okay, I was wrong. 2014, which almost makes my argument stand even more, because that was definitely when people were heavily discussing localizations in games. That's definitely one of those things that's like, yeah, that might explain it. But, in general, I do like Jam a lot. Again, mostly just because she always picks herself back up and keeps fighting, even though, things chronically go wrong for her. So this is a very interesting camera angle. Like, Jam's just, like, sat on the floor while the other two are fighting, and Johnny's just there. But yeah, it's a very interesting art style compared to the later games. It's like X2, like all the games have a different art style to each other, which makes them all very unique. They kind of level out at Accent Core, but even then the gallery tends to be a little bit more anime styled. Well, this almost feels more stylized and like especially X and X2. I actually don't know who the artist is on X Plus's cutscenes. It almost feels more like, Daisuke Shotari's traditional art style. I don't know who the artist on these would be, but yeah. Poor Jam. It's just kind of the story of this series. She's always just getting kind of messed up by outside circumstances. It's usually not even stuff in her control. It's just, fight just rolls through, basically. But yeah, that raises the question of what's the canon ending, and I have no idea what you would consider to be the canon ending. It's like all of her none of her endings are like conclusively bad, like some of them in the other games. Like obviously Dizzy's second ending in Accent Core is like, this is clearly the bad ending. But with Jams, it's like there's a bit of an ambiguity to which would actually be the good ending. Because the first one ends with her being like eyed by presumably the post-war administration bureau of her powers. The second involves her having her stand destroyed, and the third involves her, like, hitting on Kai. So, ending 3 is arguably the happiest ending, weirdly enough, which I don't feel like that happens very often. But with that, we are decently far into my look at the various story modes for Jam Quadaberry, so next time we will pick this up again with Accent Core, doing a full story run, hopefully without as much difficulty as X2 Reload gave me. And then also, if we have time, doing an arcade run. Oh no, that's gonna suck. Now that I'm just thinking about this, it's like, yeah, no, is a lot in that game for the final boss. So I'm a little nervous. And if we don't have time for that, we might just go straight to X-Art after story mode, but we'll see. We should have time for both, but we will see. Again, the original plan was to at least start Accent Core tonight and try to get through a little bit of that, but again, it's already like 7 PM my time because I started like 10 minutes late anyway. And then I had all the issues with the difficulty in X2 and also me forgetting to lower the difficulty in X1. Plus went really smoothly. I just have to manually add captions to everything, which will take a bit. But yeah, I feel like I've been off more than I can chew with this playthrough, just because all 3 games so far are going to require a lot of editing. X-Art might actually be the easiest game, surprisingly. But again, schedule for the week. If all goes well, I would like to continue this later this week, either on Wednesday or possibly on Friday. The potential for Wednesday is because that'd be my normal, like, variety day, quote-unquote, when I was planning to do this anyway. And then start the next Fox Girls Favorites on Friday. If I don't stream on Wednesday, which I've not been doing great at streaming on Wednesday, we'll pick this up on Friday and finish it up, and then start the next Fox Girls Favorites the following Monday. So that's the current plan. I would like to stream 3 times a week, though. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 PM Pacific, 7 Eastern. Hey, problem, if I do this, you're not gonna have any sound. So to make this quick, hi, I have a YouTube channel where I upload edited down versions of streams, and also planning to do original content someday. You'll get to see this playthrough with all the redundancies cut out if you go there in a few days, probably. I'll probably move this up from where I'm currently scheduled, which is still streams from like October. But just move this up so it's semi-relevant to Jam releasing and Strive. I have a VOD channel as an archive. VODs go up the next day at 12 noon. Pacific time, of course. I have a Blue Sky for posting when I go live, and other updates. I have a Ko-Fi as a tip jar, and a Throne for sending me gifts, the latter 2 being completely optional, but any additional support is greatly appreciated. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I'm tired. I mean, here's the thing. I knew this would be a little bit exhausting just by the nature of jumping back into streaming after like a little bit off, like a week off basically. Yeah, that was a little draining just because my luck was bad with like landing certain moves and just some other issues that cropped up. But yeah, thank you all for joining me on this. We'll be back again sometime this week, hopefully, if all goes well, barring any other emergencies like last week, to continue Jam's story. I'm gonna click back in so there's audio. Yeah, I other than arcade mode, I think Accent Core will go more smoothly. The big hurdle being, you know, in arcade mode. And X-Hard should be relatively smooth, I'd say. Time consuming because there's more story, but it's gonna be smooth, I hope. And Strive, I have no clue when I'm playing Jam and Strive at this point, because I'm, you know, so backed up on things I've been wanting to do. So yeah, that's just kind of on the back burner, and I unfortunately don't have any good idea of when that will be. But yeah, I don't know what to do now. It's like, part of me is like, should I raid? But part of me is also like, maybe I should just like conk out, basically. I always feel like I should raid more than I do, but I always just kind of run into different hurdles with it, like energy-wise. Yeah, I think I will just call it here to just try to unwind. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I appreciate all the support. Thank you to all the... thank you to everyone. I'm definitely fried. So yeah, we'll be back soon for more streams, hopefully more consistently than I have been for a lot of 2026 so far. And we will see how it goes. Thank you all for the kind words, the hugs, the pats. And I will see you later. Good night, everyone. Take care.